All good things must come to an end, and that most certainly goes for Wuthering Waves patches. 2.6, from what I can tell, was a massive fucking success that's probably going to resonate with the Wuthering Waves player masses for quite some time. Even after Yuno's banner is long gone awaiting another rerun, people are still going to be talking about her, making art of her, and gooning to her feet, etc, etc. Now, just because 2.6 is coming to a close, that doesn't mean we don't have to talk about it in its end. I wasn't fully able to experience 2.6 for the most part for very obvious reasons I've mentioned before. But even without me being able to play it for its majority, I could already tell how much the story and characters that came with this patch resonated with the community. I mean, people like myself literally fucking spontaneously combusted when they saw Augusta. I think the raw, visceral reaction for Yuno was less, but the support and love that were garnered were just the same. Even for the month or so I had completely stopped consuming all forms of Wuthering Waves content and was seeing it overall appear less and less on my timelines, Augusta and Yuno videos and Twitter posts still slipped through the cracks. That's how I know these videos and posts reached people who didn't necessarily pay much attention to the game in general, or had already taken a break. I had even seen people who had never even seen Wuthering Waves before start playing because they saw Augusta. I would have been one of those people if I never played Wuthering Waves to begin with. But now, before I continue, I do want to apologize if this video was a little more serious sounding and less jokey than usual. I certainly had a day. Anyways, based off the bits and pieces I was able to pick up from people schizo posting about the story and overall trying to write full-blown dissertations and finding deeper meanings in certain things that isn't really that deep at all, I think it's safe to say the community resonated with wanting to discuss Yuno's story a bit more. Trust me, these people really reach deep. I mean, they would be able to tickle Frolova at the bottom of the sea during her own story arc. Now, obviously, there's recency bias in comparison to Augusta's story, as well as Yuno's being connected to the latter half of said story. I think people felt a bit more guilty about Yuno's possible conclusion that I personally haven't seen yet. The way it not only affected her and her own literal existence from what I can understand, but the ripples of the impact of what happened to her that also affected Augusta, whether Augusta realized it or not. I won't sit here and talk too much about a story I personally didn't fully do, but I will say, I think I'll take the word of the essay writers if they say the story was as good as they say it was. It wouldn't be the first time that Wuthering Waves genuinely had a good story in my opinion, so it's not like I'd have any reason to think that this didn't deliver to begin with. Now, on to the characters. Something I can and will say about these two is Augusta and Yuno were incredibly fun characters to play and overall beautiful characters to have. Let's also not forget about the fact that Kuro Games themselves were the ones that ended up leaking their kits in the first place. I'm still a little upset that I wasn't able to play Augusta due to a real life crisis, but I can get over that. Yuno was another character to where the more I saw art of her, the more I wanted her, but I saw that Zanny was just on the horizon and I was not about to miss out on the opportunity to get my final Zanny copy. I'm also seriously hoping we get a skin for her and not some bikini skin or random Halloween costume or Christmas costume that won't fit the vibe for the rest of the year. A genuinely good looking skin that looks like a legitimate alternate outfit. I can trust that Kuro will make it as hot as humanly possible. Now, I think from a gameplay perspective, Augusta's overall impact hit way harder than Yuno's because, well, I'm gonna be real, Augusta's ultimate and moveset visuals overall completely clears Yuno's in my opinion. Gameplay wise, at the very least for me, Yuno is the lesser between the two. As for designs, I'm gonna say Augusta only for the fact that Yuno has a black skirt instead of having just the leotard exposed, so minus 3 points for my Gooner brain. Augusta's basic attacks, her enhanced attack mode, and her ultimate along with her skills all look incredibly badass. And then there's the fact she also has this mod going for her. Now, it's a little blurry, and you might struggle to see what's going on, but that's fucking alpha, if you can't tell. I'm still waiting for my Alpha XP to appear in the game, but I feel as though moveset wise, for the time being, it might be Augusta for now, and I think I personally hate that since I was unable to get her due to real life circumstances. God rest my soul. Now, continue to wait to see if maybe in the future I will get a character who looks exactly like Alpha, since we have a character who looks exactly like Lucia, and for those that don't know, these two the same fucking person, except one's technically a clone, a robotic clone, but we don't really have to get into that. For the time being, I'll look forward to Zanny on the horizon and skip everyone else that is to come. Sorry, Galbrenna, I may want you a little bit, but I don't want you enough to ruin my polls for Zanny. From this point forward, unless they release a character that I really like, or I don't know, is like Kill la Kill or something, I'm gonna be saving, and I won't be pulling. But anyways, aside from that, tell me what you all thought and felt about 2.6 and its characters. We can discuss down below. As someone who hasn't really done the story, but have already experienced the characters, I will say, I'm actually very satisfied about everything that I saw. From what I can tell, the events that I'm going to be experiencing to try and catch up for these last 3 to 4 days are probably going to be quick and easy. Maybe it might even be a little fun. Speaking of Wuthering Waves events, most of the events that I do are rather easy, but I've gotta say, the events are usually hit or miss 50-50 style, so I'm hoping that these events that I'm going to be doing for the end of this patch is actually going to be cool and engaging. Usually I like doing events that are incredibly easy or just random combat based so that I don't have to really do too much or do anything that's too annoying or too children's gamey. I don't really like the children's gamey sort of events, but I know that there's an audience out there for them who also tend to play this game, so I guess it's fine. But here's to hoping that the minigames that we do get ends up being really fun for the next patch, and hopefully for this patch that I'm about to do them on, they're also going to be fun. Look man, combat events are my thing. I love combat events, and I don't care if people think that it's annoying to constantly have combat events, but I'm gonna be honest, I'd rather sit there and do a combat challenge for events and see how far I can get rather than planting stuff and growing my own tacit Discord farm. Gonna be honest here, not really the biggest fan of that. But anyways, that's gonna be it from me. I want you all to tell me how you felt about 2.6 and its characters down below, but for the time being, I want you all to take care and peace.